So Dana White just announced two massive things regarding Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler, and UFC 303. Let's dive right into it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. So Dana posted this video on Instagram. Let's break it down. Let's dive right into it.
A couple of announcements. UFC 303, McGregor versus Chandler. I'm sure you saw it yesterday. It was announced Jamal Hill versus Carlos Ulberg is the co-main event. We are also adding undefeated 14-0 welterweight Ian Garry. He is going to be taking on the number 13 ranked Michael Venom Page. This fight is already the largest gate in UFC history, and it is International Fight Week. So if you haven't got your tickets, you better get them now.
All right, Ian Garry versus Michael Venom Page confirmed for UFC 303 International Fight Week. Of course, that's the McGregor-Chandler card. I'm assuming this fight's going to be the featured fight on the main card. I don't know why it wouldn't be. Of course, Dana said Jamal Hill and Carlos Ulberg is the co-main. And yeah, this is a banger. I feel like this main card and this card itself kind of needed a big fight like this. I know that the UFC tend to understack McGregor cards, but I feel like this is a really nice addition. Knowing Ian Garry is that young Irish fighter on the come up with a big personality, I like this addition a lot. But there's one outlier, I guess you could say. Colby Covington, what are you doing? What are you doing? The fact that this guy has gotten such Dana White privilege throughout his UFC career is quite ridiculous because he openly ducked and is scared of fighting Ian Garry. And it's absolutely ridiculous. It's just ridiculous to me. Those stipulations that he posted on Instagram, I mean, what are we doing? It's just an excuse. It's just an excuse to pretty much say, oh, well, he didn't do the stipulations, so I can't fight him. It's just ridiculous because Colby knows Ian Garry would have never done any of those things. You know, talking about, oh, I got to have my arm around your wife. I mean, it's ridiculous. I know I said ridiculous 5 times, but it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Colby Covington, I don't think he provides much to the UFC anymore. Openly ducks every high-level contender, gets free title shots, and it's sad because that fight would have been one of the biggest to wrap up 2024. Colby Covington, Ian Garry, same press conference as Conor McGregor. I mean, we know how big that would have been, and it would have been a massive moment, and I feel like this was the one fight that could almost get fans back on Colby's side. I wouldn't get back on his side, but I feel like a lot of fans would, and if he gets a win, if he somehow beats Ian Garry, he's right in the mix for maybe another number one contenders fight. So I don't know what Colby Covington's doing. I'm really lost. Where does he go from here? Who does he actually fight? Wonder Boy? I mean, it's insane. But I don't want to harp on that too much because we have a really incredible fight in front of us. Ian Garry, Michael Venom Page. I like how it's, Ireland versus England, two strikers, two, flashy strikers with interesting personalities. I'm going to go with Ian Garry. I think he's, the more intelligent fighter, the more slick striker, I guess you could say. I do feel like MVP is a little bit overrated, but he's still good. But I don't think he's on the same level as Ian Garry. I think Ian Garry is too smart on the feet, too fast. I know Michael Venom Page's in and out movement could give Ian Garry problems, but I just feel like Ian Garry is just a step above on the feet, even though people think MVP is some, world-class top 3 striker in the UFC. I just don't think that's the case, and I feel like Ian Garry is going to put on a masterclass. You look at MVP's fight with Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland isn't that good. He isn't that good. He's overrated, and I feel like Ian Garry is definitely going to get it done, but overall, it's still a sick fight. It's still a striker's dream. Perfect fight to be the featured fight on the main card for UFC 303. So no real complaints besides Colby Covington and that he's just an absolute loser, washed up old fighter that doesn't deserve to be fighting in big fights anymore. Or after this, doesn't deserve to be fighting in big fights after ducking Ian Garry because this was the big fight we all wanted, if that makes sense. But let's move on. More announcements from Dana, probably the biggest announcement. Let's dive into it.
Now, next week is UFC 302 in Newark. When that fight is over, I'm jumping on a plane and I'm flying straight to Dublin, Ireland. We're holding the Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler press conference live and free on June 3rd at the 3 Arena. I haven't been to Ireland in a while.
round of applause for Dana White and the UFC for doing this, because this is what we needed. This is the energy we needed back in the UFC. Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler, press conference set for June 3rd at the 3 Arena in Dublin, Ireland. Excuse me. This is sick. This is so sick. Of course, Conor's coming back after, 2 years off. I hope the UFC did something special. And if you go to my TikTok when Conor was teasing an announcement, I literally perfectly called this. I literally said I wouldn't be too surprised if maybe there's a press conference in Ireland. Of course, this is going to be the most recent press conference since McGregor Mayweather that took place in Ireland. So this is going to be a big moment. I expect Conor to get all the fans behind him, obviously. And I feel like he's going to step up to the plate for this press conference. And likewise with Michael Chandler. The dude's been waiting. He's been waiting for this fight for so long. And I think he's going to show up to this press conference. I think he's going to say a few funny things. And I think overall, it's just great. It's just great promotion. It's great, new eyes for the UFC. I think everything's positive with this. Really, everything's positive. It's 2 days after UFC 302. So we're still going to be feeling real great. We're going to see, Makhachev, Poirier, and then we get this right after. Builds anticipation for the fight. Maybe both guys that get a little bit heated. I know Conor said he's not going to do as much serious trash talk, but you never know. It's literally Conor McGregor. He could be doing something crazy at this press conference. We never know. So overall, I think this is sick. I think the UFC should do more of this. I know they're only doing it because it's Conor, but why not for UFC 300? I know we had every fighter on the card at the press conference, but why not a month, 2 months before? I know they did a few mini events, but why not get all these fighters to go travel different cities and do press conferences? That would have been absolutely sick, but that's kind of a lot. But this overall is so good. As I said, no complaints. No complaints. The crowd is going to be insane. The Irish fans are going to be incredible. I'm not sure how many people are going to fit into the arena, but I expect the atmosphere to be crazy. Yeah, really good. Love the fight announcement between Ian Garry and Michael Venom Page. I love this press conference. All good. All good to me. Yeah, nothing else to really say. Let me know what you guys think of the fight announcement. Let me know what you think of the press conference. Anything else, you want to put in the comments, go right ahead. Like, subscribe. Thank you for watching.